All righty, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. I can't wait for them to lose in the playoffs because they suck. Philadelphia sucks. Welcome to the Gridiron. Uh-oh. Time out, guys. Time out. Gotta move the chair for my buddy Randy. All right, we can continue. Simply amazing. He's over there in a coma, taking a nap, sleeping. Right? As soon as I start talking, he wakes up. He's got to come over every freaking time. Simply amazing. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free to fire away, throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 to 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, try to respond to as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, once again, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. Once again, if you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And then finally, a little ways down in the description box, just a little ways down, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, it's, to me, I'm an old-time fart. It's Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. It'll be Twitter 3 trillion years from now. I'm an old-time fart. I don't like change. It's Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, brother. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in the Twitter account every day. And then also the link right above it, it's my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group. We're up to 7,600 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I have internet access, if I'm alive and breathing, I'm putting stuff in here 24/7, darn near 365, right? And not only do I put stuff in here, but members post stuff in here as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in here every day. So please join the group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group. You join it, you won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, we're all that stuff said and done and that way with. Well, Giants finally got themselves their coach, their offensive line coach. It took a while. Well, it didn't take that long. I'm going to go over one of the things I'm going to go over is everybody seems to be blocking the Giants, shall I say, right? The Falcons took a turn. I guess you can't say you can't blame them, but the Giants finally got themselves their offensive line coach, which is fantastic, really, really good. It seems like it's actually my first choice would have been a guy from the Falcons, but you can't blame the Falcons for blocking the Giants or whoever else might have wanted to talk to the guy, but the guy here from the Raiders, right? Carmen Brasillo. Seems like he could. Now, what he did with the Raiders this season, right? With what he had, rather impressive, rather impressive. I'm going to go over some of the stats and stuff and everything he's got. So, Giants hire former Raiders offensive line coach Carmen Bricillo. Brian Daboll moved quickly to fill one of the openings on his coaching staff as he today named Carmen Bricillo the Giants' new offensive line coach. And I'll tell you, I think it's a very, very good move. Very good one. I'm rather excited about this one. Bricillo is a 20-year coaching veteran, including 5 in the NFL. Like Daboll, he has ties to Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Bricillo was the offensive line coach of the Raiders this past 2 seasons, and with the Patriots 2 seasons prior to that. All right. Only 11 teams allowed fewer sacks in 2023 than the Raiders did. Raiders allowed 40 sacks in 2023. But it's not so much that. It's also, it's like, their quarterback situation as well. It wasn't super spectacular this season either, right? It wasn't like you had Tom Brady back there, getting the ball, look, bam, look, bam. The quarterback situation was not super stellar this season either, okay? In his first season with the Raiders in 2022, Bricillo led an offensive line unit that only allowed 35 sacks, 2 sacks a game. 2 sacks a game. The Giants allowed 85 sacks this season. 85. Which was tied for 9th fewest in the NFL. Now, I mean, the thing is, you're not coming in, and asking, don't get me wrong. If we get the greatest offensive line coach of all time, would I be bummed out? Absolutely not, right? But you got some, whoever you bring, can he give your team a chance? That's all they ask, right? And can he develop? It looks like he can. And, it's what Thomas McGahee said. He said, I just, whatever they give me, it's like I'm making gumbo, right? I think that's what he called it. It's like whatever ingredients I got, I'm putting it in a pot. We're making some gumbo with it. And it's like, seems like that's what he seems like he can do well too. I'm going to go over some of the guys and the stats and all that stuff and everything. Right. But I mean, some impressive stuff here. Right. I mean, I'm not, with what he had to work with, pretty impressive. So let's see here. Bricillo also helped the Raiders offense rush for 2,059 yards, the most in a single season since 2011. Raiders rushers were stopped for a loss or no game in an NFL low 68 times in 2022. Of course, Josh Jacobs led the league with 1,653 rushing yards. Bricillo entered the NFL as a coaching assistant in 2019 before taking over as the Patriots line coach in 2020 and 2021. During his tenure, Patriots won the AFC East title and made 2 playoff appearances. 2021, Bricillo helped the Patriots finish 8th in the NFL in rushing yards per game. 8th. Pretty damn good. And 6th in points per game, 27.2. Running back Damian Harris set career highs with 202 carries, 929 yards, and 15 rushing touchdowns. The latter figure tied for 2nd in the NFL and 2nd in franchise history. The Patriots scored 24 rushing touchdowns in 2021 behind Bricillo's line, a mark that tied for the 3rd most in franchise history. Bricillo helped the Patriots finish 4th in the NFL. 146.6 rushing yards per game in 2020, the highest average since 1983. And it's not like that. And you look at it like they didn't have Lamar Jackson run. You get some of these teams like what the Eagles did. That's great. Because let's take out the quarterback. How many yards did the running game actually get? Right. Okay. They didn't have Lamar Jackson running back there. So for them to have the Patriots to average like 100 and almost 150 yards a game rushing the ball without like a Lamar Jackson, somebody like that back there, that's pretty good. You got to give them some credit there. They averaged 146.6 rushing yards per game, the Patriots, okay, in 2020, which was their highest average since 1983. So basically in 40 years. Right. From 2010 to 2018, Brazil spent 9 years coaching the offensive line at Youngstown State University. He coached 15 all Missouri Valley Conference selections, and the Penguins advanced to the 2016 NCAA FCS National Championship game. His line helped the offense set multiple school years during the tenure, including total yards per game, 458 yards a game, pretty good rushing yards, 3,883 rushing yards in one season. The average almost like, I don't know, like 300 rushing yards a game. I mean, that's freaking crazy. Completion percentage, passing yards, and passing touchdowns and points per game. Prior to Youngstown State, Priscilla spent 2009 season as an offensive assistant at helping the offensive line in Illinois. He was at Akron as a director of video services in 2006, coaching assistant in 2007 and 2008. So he goes back. He's got a lot of college, right, coaching. But I saw this stat here, okay, on Facebook, one of the groups I got. Now, it's from the Raiders offensive line blocking efficiency under Giants offensive line coach, Carmen Brazil. Their left tackle, all right, Miller, with their pass blocking efficiency, right? Their left tackle, Miller. And I'm going to go over where these guys got drafted at, too, all right, which is very impressive. Miller was 12th and the left tackles, pass blocking efficiency out of 90 tackles, right? 12th out of 90. Parham, their left guard, was 13th in pass blocking efficiency out of 85 left guards. James, their center, was 13th in pass blocking efficiency out of 40 centers. Van Roten was 13th out of 85 right guards. And Luminor, I'm going to say, right, the right tackle, he was 29th out of 90, okay, pass blocking efficiency. They also allowed 40 sacks, which is 12th best in the NFL. So, I mean, you see these guys, I mean, I don't even know. I'd be throwing up. I don't even want to look at what the Giants were, but, very, very impressive stats, right? What he was doing there. Now, let's see what we got here. Whoops. All right, now I want to go to this season here, right? So, according to PFF, it's all I'm going by. Right? So they said we're not super stellar, quarterback play. I'm going to go over in just a minute, right? Where these guys were drafted at, what he had to work with. Okay, some pretty impressive stuff. Okay, now pass blocking once again, PFF. The PFF grade for the Las Vegas Raiders this past season, 2023, they were number 12. Okay. And I'm going to go over the guys. All right. 68.4. Okay. The Giants were number 32. The Giants were 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2. The Giants were 43.4. He had the Raiders at 68.4. He had the Raiders 25 points higher than the Giants. And the Giants had a first rounder, another first rounder, and a second rounder on their offensive line. They also had a Zudu, Sometimes we had Parrott was a third rounder. Azudu was a third rounder. So you can look at it at time. Yeah, I mean, we had, Parrott was a third rounder. Azudu was a third rounder, right? We had Neal was a first rounder. Thomas was a first rounder. Michael Schmidt's second round. So we had first and second rounders on the offensive line, right? Now, their run blocking this past season, the Raiders, according to PFF, that's all I'm going by. Their run blocking, they were 14th, okay? Nothing super spectacular, but 62.9, but they were 14th, right? Okay? The Giants were number 30, 41.1. I mean, just absolute total trash. Now, if we look at the Raiders, okay, they're blocking, okay? Now we go to, let's see, Miller. It was a tackle for him this past season, right? He was in there for 705 snaps. Overall, he graded out at 80.2. Pretty impressive. But once again, if we look where Miller, he was drafted, okay, he was a first rounder. Okay, Colton Miller. So he basically he's like our Andrew Thomas, shall you say, right? He was drafted pick 15, drafted in the first round. He had a fantastic season, graded out at 80.2 overall. Be dying to see what he might be able to do with Andrew Thomas. Okay, be interesting to see. All right, but now we start going over some of these other guys. Van Roten, whatever. Their guard, graded out of 75.3 overall. Okay, he was in there for 1,025 snaps. He was an undrafted free agent. And from the University of Pennsylvania, he was a Penn Quaker. He was drafted in 2012. So, I mean, he's almost 34 years old. Guys getting ready to retire. Drafted from Pennsylvania in 2012. 34 years old. He's older than, I think, than Justin Pugh. Got drafted the year before Pugh, right? Undrafted free agent. And, he graded out at a 75.3. So else their center, James, 963 snaps. Undrafted free agent. Hello. Drafted in 2019 by the Raiders, right? From UCLA. Nice size, 6'4", 300 pounds. Undrafted free agent. Graded out of 74.6. Very impressive. Very impressive. All right, let's see. Next. Let's see if I went over Heron. No. He only played 17 snaps. I certainly don't want to do him. Right, do I go Hooper? No, Miller, Broughton. Where else we got here? Tackle. Illuminor, I'm going to say. Right, 905 snaps. Fifth rounder. So far, we've got over 4 guys. We got a first rounder, 2 undrafted free agents, and a fifth rounder. Luminor, 29 years old, from Texas A&M, drafted by the Ravens in 2017, graded out of 68.5 overall. 68.5, fifth rounder. So after Luminor, we take Parham. He was a guard, 1,042 snaps. 1,042 snaps. All right, let's see here. He was a third-round pick. So we got 2 undrafted free agents, a fifth-round pick, and a third-round pick, and a first-rounder. We got a second-rounder. We got 2 first-rounders. We got a third-rounder. When Parrott's in there, third-round, you know what I mean? And we're the worst offensive line in football. You tell me, right? You tell me. Now, I get it. I know Neal was injured. Parrott's in and out of the lineup here. Zudu was injured. McKeithen was injured. Zudu, Lemieux, everybody. I mean, Andrew Thomas, the hamstring. I get all that and everything. But our offensive line was just straight up trash this season. And we're not developing the guys at all. And this guy's only 6'3", 285 pounds. 285-pound guard in the third round. Drafted last season by the Raiders. So he was only his second season. And graded at a 60.4 overall. Nothing super spectacular. He's a third rounder, right? But I mean, so once again, he does not. He's not. Doesn't have elite talent here. He's not working with upper echelon, right? Yeah, talent. He has one first rounder. Okay. And that's pretty much about it. All right. So I really, really think, I really like this. I think the Giants really, I don't want to jinx they knocked it out of the park and all that stuff and anything, but I really think, they did it. I think really did a good job here. Really did a good job. What I like, once again, they went out, right, out of their comfort zone, right? They went and got somebody. As I said, I'm going to go over in just a second here. The Falcons put the block on, right? And the Chargers put the block on their special teams coach yesterday or two, whatever it was, right? And the Falcons. I mean, I can't blame them. They got the head coach, turnover, but they're holding on to the guy because I guess he's still under contract. I guess, right? So they're holding on to the guy because the new guy coming in, whoever the new coach is, if they want to, for some reason, if they're hitting the crack pipe, and they want to let and whoever's going to be the new coach of the Atlanta Falcons, if they want to let this offensive line coach go, he'll be out of a job for about maybe 3 seconds, right? So if whoever the new coach is, if they want to let that guy go, good luck and God bless to you. I mean, I can't help you, but the Falcons put on the block. I can't blame them. Let's see here. The Giants requested to interview Falcons offensive line coach Dwayne Ledford for the same position, but the Falcons denied the request per report. I mean, that stuff happens. You know what I mean? It says it's been a tumultuous start to the 2024 offseason for the Giants, as several members of the coaching staff have either left or been fired. To make matters worse, Big Blue View has been coming up empty on recent interview requests for the offensive line coach and special team position. First, Bobby Skinner, Talking Giants podcast, reported that the Giants requested to interview the offensive line coach, Dwayne Ledford, for the same position, but they denied the request. Let's see here. It says, and of course, the Chargers blocked the Giants' request to interview special teams coordinator Ray Ficken, Garofalo informed. So while the Chargers work toward finding its new next head coach, they clearly still hope that Ficken is a part of the next coaching staff. And, once again, I mean, when you got somebody who's very, very successful, that's just so the Chargers would be crazy to let the guy go. I mean, if they got a new coach coming in, and for whatever reason they don't want Ficken there or whatever, okay. If they got somebody that's going to do just as good of a job, or if not better, okay. But I think the Falcons be just straight up crazy just to let their offensive line coach go. So I mean, you can't blame them. It is what it is. I mean, sometimes you all you do is you ask for permission. Right. Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, and I can't blame either one of them. But I really think the Giants did a really good job. I say, because this guy, what he's working, as I said, let's not forget, as I said, it's not like, they got a star quarterback back there who's taking the ball, right? He knows where he's going, right? And he's got some good wide receivers, but some quarterbacks go back there and they know their reads, right? And 1, 2, 3, whatever, they let the ball. I mean, their quarterback situation this season, past season, the Raiders was not ideal, right? It was not ideal at all. Okay, so they could, the other opposing team's defense, unlike maybe the Giants when we played them, but other teams' defenses could either maybe load up the box to stop the run, and it's like, we're going to make Aiden O'Connell beat us. If you're going to drop back and pass 30, 40 times and you beat us, God bless you, brother. We tip your cap to you. But we're loading up the box. You're not beating us with the run. We're going to make you beat the quarter. You know what I mean? So, I mean, their quarterback situation was not ideal. And for them to be in the top, was a 14 rushing, and where they finished in the pass blocking efficiency and all that stuff was absolutely phenomenal. As I said, especially 2 undrafted free agents, a 5th rounder, and a 3rd rounder. And look what he did. And he had a 1st rounder. Okay, but as I said, what we had a second rounder at center. When Parrott was in there at the end, he's a third rounder. Neal, first rounder. Andrew Thomas, a first rounder. Zudu's a third rounder. So we had some good talent in there. Or so the Giants think anyway. So what I think he can do is, should be. But they keep always said, was it 35 sacks? It was either 35 sacks last season or 35 sacks. I mean, we gave up 85. Okay, so look for some good things ahead coming, and let's hope he can, develop some of this young talent we got, and it's going to be very interesting to see, because he's going to be watching the film. I mean, especially on Neal. What's he think Neal can be, right? Because if the Giants come, because now I'm starting to hear, I started to listen to Big Blue Kickoff Live, and they were thinking John Schmelk. He's very good with the draft. And he was kind of talking and all that. He's thinking maybe the Bears might want to maybe draft somebody and trade Fields. So if that's the case, maybe the Bears draft a quarterback, the Commanders drafting a quarterback, Patriots might possibly drafting a quarterback. So, I mean, I heard sloppy seconds and all that stuff and everything, but I can't see the Giants drafting sloppy fourths. I can't see the Giants drafting the fourth best quarterback at pick number 6. I just can't see that happening. But the nice thing is, right, they're drafting 6, right? If the top 3, right, or whatever, 3 or 5, whatever, or quarterbacks, right? That maybe, unfortunately, maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. might be one of those other picks 4 or 5 or whatever. But that might leave a tackle for the Giants. That would be interesting. That'd be interesting to see what this guy Brasillo thinks that Evan Neal. I said, because we got Michael Schmitz and we got Thomas. You take Neal, put him at guard. Now we got 3 guys. But hopefully we can get Neal at guard, right? And hopefully he'll be right. He'll be okay at there. But if we can draft a tackle, I mean, we might be almost set at offensive line. As scary as that sounds, but we got to get a coach in here who knows what he's doing. And can we develop these young guys? Can we develop them? That would be huge. But so I'm very excited about this pick. Very, very excited. That's one of the nice things about when there's turnover and everything. Things happen. So that's good. That might have just worked out really, really well for the Giants. So we still got to get our defensive coordinator, special teams coach, running back coach. But I think we're 1 for 1 so far. So that's good. That's really, really good. All right. Let's see. I got this. Who's this from? From Sports Illustrated. Now they got a list there. 10 free agents the Giants must resign. First one is Casey Kreider. Yep, you got to agree with him on that one. The long snapper. Long snapper is one of those jobs that nobody appreciates and notices until you do something wrong. Nobody's ever going to notice Casey until he screws something up. Absolutely. Makes a bad snap. Yep. The level of appreciation is not where it should be. Think back. When was the last time you had an issue with the Giants were snapping the ball? The former Pro Bowler has been snapping in New York since 2020. This one should be a no-brainer. Yep. And the nice thing about that, bring the guy freaking back, and he's not costing you, $35 million a year. Very cheap, very affordable. Bring the guy back, right? The other guy they got here, number 9, Gunnar Olszewski. Abso-freaking-lutely. Bring the guy back. Once we brought him in there, it just seemed like the storm kind of calmed down, right? I mean, oh my God, it was always like, who are we going to have back this week returning punts? Who are we going to? I mean, oh my God, even a fair catch was a problem, was a dilemma. The bobbles and the muff punt. Oh my goodness. Once he got there, I'll tell you what, things started really simmering down, calming down. So I hope we can find a spot on that guy on the roster for him because, he did a fantastic job for the Giants. Absolutely. Good old Gunner. All right, then they got Ben Bredesen. Now with him, Ben, young, he's got the flexibility of guard and center. Obviously, we're not breaking the bank for the guy, but if he wants to come back, right? I mean, especially with the new offensive line coach, you might be able to help develop him even a little bit more. But once again, he can play the inside offensive line position, which is huge flexibility for you, and as he can play center. Once again, he should perform better. We got a new offensive line coach in there, so he should be a little bit better. Okay. As I said, if he wants to come back and you don't have to break the bank for him, he's some, if worse comes to worse, he's some good quality depth. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have no problem bringing Ben Bredesen back. Jihad Ward, I'm not so sure about this one here. I don't know. They got here. Ward started to find his footing this season once they traded away Leonard Williams. His 5 sacks over the season's final 5 games are a career high for him. His versatility along the line, especially in pass rush situations, is needed with so few pass rushing options. Yeah, but I mean, how well did he do last season? But also, he's a Wink guy, right? I mean, he just might be rubbing Dable the wrong way, period. Why? Because Wink keeps bringing him back, right? So every time he looks at Hottie, he's just going to look at Wink. He's like, so I don't know if they're bringing Hottie back. I mean, he's a good teammate, good in the locker room, all that stuff and everything. But I'm not sure. I'm not so sure if they're going to be bringing Hottie back. And if they do, okay. But I don't know. I think they can do better than Jihad Ward. Although I said his last few games weren't too bad. Carter Coughlin. Yeah, now this one here, they got Carter Coughlin and Cam Brown. Both those guys apparently they went like on it was like Twitter or whatever it was, Facebook or something. They were kind of like saying their bye-byes to the Giants. Now, apparently like the Giants when they had their Dable and or Shane spoke with them and said like Carter Coughlin and Brown, apparently they didn't seem like they had any inkling on possibly bringing them back. Now, they are kind of a liability in the defense, but they were good on special teams, and you got to have those special teams guys. And if you bring them back, I mean, Carter, he's not going to cost a lot of money. It's not like somebody, we have to dish out $18 million a year to sign Carter Coughlin. We got to dish out so many a year to sign Cam Brown. No, it ain't going to be that, right? I mean, there's some depth. They can play. Coughlin can play the edge. He can play inside linebacker, not very good, right? But he's good on special teams. Same thing with Cam Brown. So there's one article they're talking about re-signing Carter Coughlin. Right? He's 4 seasons with the Giants. The former Minnesota standout has made a name for himself as a quality special teams player. He has the size, the strength, and the speed to be a factor in all 4 special teams units. Yep. The same thing that made him a star at Minnesota has made him an ace in football's the third phase, his motor. He's constantly in motion, pursuing the football and fighting to make a block or defeat a blocker. That's a skill you cannot teach. Nope, you either got it or you don't. The next one they got here is Darnay Holmes. Now, it'd be interesting to see. Darnay Holmes was very good on special teams, too. Okay. Just like Coughlin, Darnay Holmes is a great motor, and that's likely why he was able to transition to a much bigger role in special teams with his defensive reps would cut dramatically. So, I mean, that's the one thing is that, his reps, got cut on defense, but they found a role for him on special teams, which once again is huge. But, he was not drafted by Shane or Dable. He came with Kmart, right? When they showed up, he was here. His 4 seasons are over with. I mean, he's not been super spectacular on the defensive side of the ball. Do the Giants think they can maybe get somebody else in here? Maybe draft somebody? We'll have to wait and see. But once again, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem bringing them back. It's just that, it's the money, right? It's all about the Benjamins. But and Tyrod Taylor, the next guy, Tyrod Taylor. Says it's difficult because of Daniel Jones' contract and the contract that Tyrod has earned the right to ask for, but nobody can still argue Taylor's talent. With the same roster issues as Jones and DeVito, he brought the offense to life and allowed it to highlight the various explosive elements of this team. Yep. His downfield throwing, his very nice touch on the ball. Absolutely. The Giants somehow find a way to move on from Jones, which does not seem likely, not this season. Absolutely not. Taylor could serve as a starter to groom whoever the future quarterback will be. The plan is to stick with Jones next year. It would make sense to keep Taylor ready to limit the need to rush Jones back from his injury and provide the team with insurance if he was to get hurt. So Shane never didn't rule out, without any question, didn't rule out, he didn't rule it out, but didn't sound like he was overly thrilled about bringing Taylor back. But I mean, they definitely gonna have to do something, without question. They got to do something. Because when like mini camps and all that stuff start and Daniel Jones ain't around, right? We got one quarterback. You need two other quarterbacks. You're going to need two other quarterbacks, right? I mean, if Taylor ain't here, if you don't re-sign Taylor and Jones ain't there during the spring and all of that and everything like that, you just can't have Tommy DeVito running around throwing. You need three quarterbacks in there. So they got to bring at least two other quarterbacks in, right? Now, whether that's a free agency, in the draft, in the first round, in the second round, third round, sixth round, bet, whatever. But they got to have to bring at least two quarterbacks in within the next few months. Right. And the next guy they got is Isaiah Simmons. Yeah, man. I tell you, especially because we traded away a draft. I mean, it was a seventh rounder. But then you start thinking, it's like, wow, this guy was a first round pick. I mean, he's not Micah Parsons or something like that. I get it. But still, he was a first-round pick for a reason. And we got him for a seventh-round selection? Wow. I mean, this one's kind of like, we kind of like make Shane look a little dumb. I mean, get a guy in the middle of the season, trade away a seventh-round pick, get a guy in there, a former first-round pick. Use him for whatever we had, 10, 12 games, whatever it was, and then just let him go, walk away. I mean, that wouldn't look too good. It's kind of the same thing with like Leonard Williams, right? We traded away a couple picks to get Leonard Williams to use him for the rest of the season. You kind of backed into the corner. Well, we traded away a couple picks to get the guy. We really ought to kind of hold on to him, and we did. Thank goodness we did. But I mean, it would be a bummer if they let Isaiah Simmons go. I mean, his skill set is special. Now it's going to be interesting to see who the new defensive coordinator is coming in, right? If they use him a little bit more often than what Wink did, right? But I mean, even still, I mean, Isaiah Simmons, he was the one escorting Gunnar Olszewski into the end zone on his punt return against the Rams. You know what I mean? So I say he gets his plays in there. He gets some snaps in there. So I'd hate to see that guy go. Another special talent. And then they talk here. Saquon Barkley. And the last one is Xavier McKinney. Now I'm going to go Xavier. All right, what's going to lead me to my next thing? Saquon Barkley. Of course, Saquon was the best player on this team again in 2020. Was the best player on this team again in 2024. So I'm not sure what they're talking about because we haven't played in 2024. It's hard not to put a high value on the 26-year-old has done during the time with Big Blue. Yes, there has been major injuries in the past, but when he's been healthy, he's been one of the best backs in the league. Last season, he was franchised, and this year, that tag will cost even more. Oh, yeah. Yep. The nightmare of watching Barkley next year in Philadelphia or Dallas is too much for fans and ownership to bear. Giants need to retain their draft picks when they hit on them, and regardless of what people believe in hindsight, this was a hit. He deserves to spend the foreseeable future in the state where he was born and on the team that drafted him. I hope they can find a way to get him back. Now, this other one, Xavier McKinney. They have in this article here, guys that the Giants should, bring back. Now, I said in the article, it seems like Xavier might want to test the open market here. Which, it might wind up being kind of like a Landon Collins kind of thing where the Giants didn't want to dish out big bucks for Landon Collins, and then somebody else goes out and signs Landon Collins to a big deal, which might wind up happening. Now, let's also forget, right? prior to the season, there was a chance that the Giants had a chance to maybe extend McKinney or something like that, maybe work out a long-term deal with them or something like that. But Shane didn't do it. So that could be sticking in the back of McKinney's mind. It's like, yeah, well, they didn't want. I balled out this season. I played pretty damn good, and you didn't want me. Yeah, well, they didn't want me, but you didn't want to extend me, so you weren't feeling me, huh? All right, well, I played pretty good. Let's see. I banked on myself, and I think I might be cashing in. So let's see. Now who is this from her? Who is this? It's from SI. Says Xavier McKinney plans to test free agent market. New York Giants safety Xavier McKinney is about to head into free agency this offseason and has his sights squarely set on landing a lucrative multi-year deal. New York safety Xavier McKinney is about to head into free agency this offseason and his sights, rightfully so. McKinney, who in the 3 years prior had missed chunks of 2 of those seasons, not only played every single snap for the Giants this season, but he arguably had his best campaign, setting or matching career highs in pass breakups with 11, total tackles 116, tackles for loss with 2, and forced fumbles with 1. All of that has given McKinney the confidence to believe that he has a nice payday awaits. And let's not forget that, his interception, he had 2 interceptions in that game against the Eagles. Let's not forget that one on the sideline was phenomenal. So McKinney believes that a nice payday awaits him. However, whether that deal be with the Giants remains to be seen, but the odds of that happening right now appear to be slim. Xavier says, I can tell you, but I can't really control nothing, McKinney said after the Giants beat the Eagles. It's business at the end of the day. So I just got to be where my feet are, be present, and that's really what it's all about. McKinney has made no secret about feeling disrespected by the Giants. This going back to the start of the 2023 season, in which he watched teammates like left tackle Andrew Thomas and defensive line Sexy Dexy be rewarded with contract extensions before their rookie deals expire, right? Well, let's not forget, right? Daniel Jones, he got paid. Andrew Thomas, he got paid. Sexy Dexy, he got paid. They franchise tag Saquon Barkley. So some guys made some money. Xavier McKinney, nada. Okay. They brought in, Darren Waller, right? They brought in Okereke, so they brought in some guys. They paid some money out, but they didn't want to do nothing with Xavier, right? So that might be sticking in the back of his mind. So when it came to McKinney, General Manager Joe Schoen came right out and said that there was no plans to extend McKinney before the start of the 2023 season, an action that no doubt stuck in McKinney's craw. With the 2023 season in the books, McKinney, who thinks of himself as the most complete safety out there, so he's high on himself, and who continues to jockey for the respect he feels he deserves, is planning to test the market. He confirmed via on his Twitter account. Let's see. McKinney says on Twitter, this is nonfiction, not fiction. I'm not sure what that means. Say McKinney headed into free agency. Great interview he had an interview with somebody. I'm the most complete safety out there, and it's about time for some respect to that too. I don't think nobody is on my level versatility-wise. So he's pretty high on himself. Not sure if he's the most complete safety out there, but, says whether McKinney gets that respect from the Giants, assuming he even takes their call, is another story. The Giants have plenty of roster needs to fill that are looming large, such as quarterback, offensive line, edge rusher, and number 1 wide receiver, the defensive line. Now it's got all kinds of, but I'm saying, but you can certainly get maybe not somebody as good as him, but you can, we drafted him in the second round. We had Landon Collins, drafted him in the second round. We can, you can go out there and get yourself a pretty decent, good safety in the second round. Now, unless they want to go with Pinnock and they think Belton, right? Now, I'm not sure if that's, quite the upper echelon like what a McKinney is, but they're certainly a lot cheaper. That's for sure. The Giants currently have $33 million in total cap space, $17 million of which is their effective space, which means they can devote to filling some of their roster holes, which ain't a heck of a lot. Now, they have ways of, obviously they can get rid of Mark Lewinsky and save some money, right? The team is expected to clear more space this offseason, but the extra space might not be enough to give McKinney a lucrative contract. They also have Dane Belton under contract. Belton, who stepped in for Jason Pinnock after his foot injury landed him on IR, was a fourth-round pick by the Giants in 2022, who played well in some expanded action during the last 2 weeks of the season. Belton recorded 2 interceptions for 22 yards, 2 pass breakups, 1 fumble recovery, and a partridge in a pear tree. He had 2 tackles for loss, 8 tackles in the last 2 weeks of the season after stepping in for Pinnock. While not quite the same player as McKinney, Belton has shown that he can step in at both safety spots, including playing coverage, where he has a career 68.5 coverage rating. So it's going to be interesting to see, what the Giants decide to do. It's one of those. They got a bunch of decisions. Obviously, right now, the big thing is to get the coaching staff in. And then, especially with the defensive coordinator, he's going to look. He's going to want to know what Jerome thinks about the group in the secondary. Right? He's going to have to start looking at film and all that stuff and everything. Does he think Belton and Pinnock can be the starters? Maybe draft some. Does he think Various Owens can help back there? Do we need to maybe draft another safety in one of maybe the later rounds, or pick somebody in the second or third round? I'll have to wait and see. But usually the way it winds up working out, right, is a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, you draft somebody, maybe you draft somebody in the offensive line, then our next pick would be somebody on the defense. Then you get somebody in the offense, and it, kind of goes back and forth. That'd be interesting to see with the new defensive coordinator, where he might want to go. Do we want to try to get edge rusher? Do we want to need a cornerback? Do we want to get somebody next to Sexy Dexy? So we need 2 edge rushers, but we need an edge rusher. We need a good defensive tackle. We could probably use a cornerback, right? And we can probably use a safety. So we need 4 guys at least. That's just to start. Then you could maybe start filling with some depth and all. But it'll be interesting to see. Very, very interesting. Next few months are going to be very, very fascinating for the Giants. Very, very fascinating for the Giants. And then finally, it's a sad story here with Michael Strahan with his daughter. Former Giants, Michael Strahan has faced many challenging opponents in his football career, but nothing near as challenging as his 19-year-old daughter, Isabella, is currently facing. Isabella bravely decided to share her battle with a malignant brain tumor known as, I'm not even going to pronounce it because I'll screw it up, on January 11, 2024 appearance on Good Morning America. Her father seated alongside her, holding her hand for support. Isabella, who received her devastating diagnosis in late October during her freshman year at USC, initially thought the frequent headaches she was experiencing was a result of vertigo. But when her condition took a turn for the worse to include trouble walking and nausea, the teenager knew something more was amiss. I woke up probably like at 1 p.m. I dreaded waking up. At 1 p.m., yeah. Woke up at 1 p.m. Okay. Isabella told Good Morning America's Robin Roberts, but I was throwing up blood. I was like, this probably isn't good. So I texted my sister, Sophia, who then notified the whole family. Her family urged her to seek medical attention following a series of diagnostic tests. The Strahans received the crushing news that Isabella has a fast-growing tumor in the back of her head that was about the size of a golf ball. Holy cow. Wow. And they obviously that putting pressure on things obviously is causing the headaches. I don't really remember much, Strahan said when he learned of Isabella's diagnosis. I just remember trying to figure out how to get to LA ASAP, and it just doesn't feel real. It didn't feel real. One day before her 19th birthday in October, Isabella underwent emergency surgery at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles to remove the tumor. She has since undergone radiation treatment and will soon begin chemotherapy. Isabella said she decided to share a condition with the world to help others who might be going through a similar situation. I hope to just kind of be a voice and be someone who maybe are going through chemotherapy or radiation can look at it, she said. Her courage has already inspired her father. That's cool. I literally think that in a lot of ways, I'm the luckiest man in the world because I've got an amazing daughter, the Hall of Famer, defensive end, told Robin Roberts. I know she's going through it, but I know that we're never given more than we can handle, and that she's going to crush this. So that's really, really good. So, I mean, obviously, thoughts and prayers to Michael's daughter and family. And, you know, I mean, to have that happen to you is horrible. To have that happen to maybe a mom or a dad or something like that, once again, that's horrible. To have that happen to a brother or sister, a friend, horrible. Absolutely freaking horrible. But to have that happen to your 19-year-old daughter, that's just, there's no words for that. Your children should be left alone for many, many years. And, you know, it's an absolute shame that something like this. And I said, just thoughts and prayers out to him and her and the family and all and everything. And hopefully what Michael said, right? Hopefully she crushes it. So good luck, dear. Good luck. Good luck to you. So, all right, guys, been 51 minutes. Another eventful day and the day in the New York Giants. We got ourselves an offensive line coach. I think it's a home run. It's certainly going to be a lot better than Bobby Johnson. So we got brighter days ahead of us, I think, as far as the offensive line. To look for better offensive line play next season, and hopefully we can start developing some of these players, right? So if somebody does get injured, we got somebody coming in off the sideline who can take their place and do a decent job. So Giants 1 for 1, right? We still got a running back coach, but a special teams coach, right? We need a defensive right? We got the offensive line coach. We'll have to keep an eye on Mike Kafka, right? Because the Titans asked for an interview for him. Now, I'm not sure if they're the only ones who are going to be talking to him, but there's a lot of coaching vacancies out there. I mean, who would think? I mean, who would have this on there, right? On their scratch off, right? Pete Carroll, right? Saban and Belichick all in the same season? Gone. Wow. Huh? So still some coaching vacancies out there and all that stuff. And who knows, maybe even Kafka might even go back to the college ranks. Who knows? But I mean, as of right now, the Giants, found one coach, couple, the special teams, right? And a defensive coordinator we got to go. So whoever spends any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.